Hello, and welcome to Sparring Sessions. My name's Dax, and we're here today to break down UFC Fight Night Hooker versus Tsarukyan, UFC Fight Night Qatar, whatever you want to call it. First, though, got to bring in my co-hosts, UFC Genie. How you doing today, Genie?
Man, I'm back. Listen, last night,
Yeah,
Michael Morales, fucking
okay.
Carlos Prates,
Yeah,
BSD in round one. I was on fire, man. I was on fire. If only Makachev got that submission to finish the night off, but I did pretty good last night, and man, it was a pretty good fight night. So coming off the heels of that, I'm excited to look at this next one, which on
yeah.
paper is looking pretty good too.
Yeah, I was gonna say you on the show last week you picked JDM round four knockout, I want to say, but then whoever follows your
No,
UFC
I
Genie
picked I
account
picked
knows you.
Makachev on Did I not? I swear to
No,
God.
you picked JDM. You picked JDM. And
No, there's
to be
no way.
fair,
Will might have. There's no way I picked JDM on the show. I was Makachev all
uh, I'm
week.
I'm gonna have to tape check you on this later, but
Yeah.
either way, Makachev looked great. Makachev and Valentina looked dominant. Boring. Don't get me wrong. I passed out, but it was a pretty good. I don't think it was the card of the year, like we kind of mentioned going in. Maybe if you talk uh, what was that first one? Bo Nickel, maybe Bo Nickel to like Morales, four fight stretch of some of the best highlights we've ever seen or we've seen this year. Um,
During that Bo Nickel fight, like maybe 10 seconds before he got the knockout, I turned to one of my buddies and I go, "Man, Bo Nickel needs a striking coach."
he does still need a striking coach, even though he got the head kick. It's Rodolfo Vieira. It's not like he's going in there and boxing up RDR or somebody. Um, but yeah, pretty good night of fights. I think we're going to talk about at least the main event later on this card, and maybe a few other fights. But yeah, let's jump right in. UFC Fight Night, Tsarukyan versus Hooker, UFC Qatar, Doha, Qatar, Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern prelim start. I'm guessing it's going to be we have 14 fights, probably 1 o'clock if I had to guess. Main card. Are you here for the early start time?
I have a sparring class on Saturday morning that I cannot miss this week, so I guess I'm
Oof.
gonna have to miss the early fights and then yeah, I'll have to rewatch them or something. I got so
Jeez.
mad last night when I heard that it was a 1 p.m. start time for this card. I
Yeah.
actually got so mad. I usually like these start times, but man, it is getting in the way of my sparring classes on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, I gotta make some sacrifices for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of those sparring classes, you should go to jujitsu class and learn how to defend a single takedown. But
All right. All
nah,
right.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But you know how we do it here. Overall rating of the card. What do you like about it? What don't you like?
I think overall the card it's at least a 7.5 out of 10 on paper, I think. There's some of the low ranked or the lower down fights on this card here. They're still pretty good. You know, you got name value, you got the debuting Shamrock, you got Nurullo Aliev who's been on a very like inactive run, you know. He's been winning these
You're
fights but
telling me.
taking year and a half off between each one.
Yeah.
Um Alexandre Topuria is back. There's a Kyoji Horiguchi.
No, yeah.
Kyoji Horiguchi. Jesus, I glitched out that first time there. There's some good names on this card though, and I'm pretty excited. You know, some of these guys coming into the company on their first fights, they're going to be going for like some crazy performance knockouts, and it's gonna be a fun night. I think so. I think at least a
Yeah.
7.5 out of 10.
7.5. I'm gonna give it like a B plus. This is a better card than some pay-per-views.
Mm.
Like if you threw a title fight on here, this is a pretty good main card for these top four plus if you threw a Marab Peter on this card, I think that would be a pretty good better than some of the pay-per-views we've had this year. Let me tell you that. You remember that where was it? Sydney, I want to say, Australia, where you had a Toph on the main card and Jake Matthews in the co-main. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that was horrible. But yeah, well, let's jump right into it. First fight of the night. I think this is new. I don't remember seeing this a few weeks ago or last week when we um, did our look ahead. But I'm gonna butcher this. Marek Bujo, Bujlo? I don't know. I'm horrible with Polish names. I still can't get Joanna Jędrzejczyk, something like that. He's going up against Denzel Freeman, heavyweights. If you're wondering, hey, I haven't heard of either of these guys. Yeah, you have to be pretty deep to know who these guys are going in. But let's break it down anyway. Um, Bull Joe, I'm just gonna call him Boojzilla because that's his nickname. I like that way better. He is 32 years old, undefeated, 6-0. He's coming in from the Polish regional scene. Not a contender series. Not he hasn't beaten anybody that you know. No names. They signed him. I watched one of his fights. He's beating up cans, as one would expect of a signed UFC fighter. On the other side, Denzel Freeman, Luke Fox, 6-1. Um, he's on a 2-fight winning streak. He just beat Hugo Cunha, who is a former Contender Series fighter for the LFA championship belt, and so he dropped in, came to the UFC, I guess. I do not have odds on this fight on the two sites I've checked. Um, Bojo, if you trust the regional stats, is going to be 2 inches taller with an inch and a half of reach, but who really knows? Until they get to the UFC and do that first real check, you're just kind of guessing here. So, Jeannie, I envy you, but you get to go first here. Sensational fight of the year, some are calling it. Who you got here?
Now, are you aware of Denzel Freeman's former career path?
Was he the truck driver?
No, he was a former NXT developmental talent for WWE.
Oh,
And
interesting.
3 years ago
Okay.
on PFL, in his post fight interview, he shot his shot on Liv Morgan, who is a
On Liv
WWE.
Morgan. Wow.
Yeah. I'm honestly just for that, I'm gonna go with Denzel Freeman, and also just because he's been around the block way longer. To be honest, when I look at his topology page, at least this dude's been fighting since 2016, and this random out of Poland started MMA in 2021. And man, I just think it's gonna be way funnier if Denzel Freeman, the dude that fucking called out Liv Morgan in a post-fight interview, ends up beaten and getting into the UFC. I think that'd be
Yeah.
hilarious. There's not much to go on for this fight, so that's the extent of my breakdown, and I'm going with Denzel Freeman to win this fight by. I mean, this dude beat Steven Asplund as well, who he looked
Yeah.
pretty good on the Contender Series. He knocked out his opponent and got into the company, so that
Okay.
win kind of ages a bit better, maybe. So I'm going to say Denzel Freeman finishes this dude off in the second round, submission or something like that.
Watch it. Uh, I don't think submission. Uh, Bojo is a Polish national champion in gi jiu-jitsu. He's not like Buchecha or anything who's like, he's not a 10-time world champion, but he's okay, we think, at least. Funny enough, he has a Tapology page or a Wikipedia page. Never, I have zero idea why, but you know what? They're like Tuko Tokos, no, this random dude from Poland who has never fought anybody. Sure. I'm going Freeman too, though. I think I really liked the Aspen win. The Kunha win, Kunha is kind of on a little bit of a down slope, but um, what are you going to do? More importantly, this guy Puya Ramani, they fought in grappling, and went to decision with this guy who has beaten Tanyan Duarte. He finished Hamdi Abdelwahab in grappling and beat Slim Trabelsi. So if he can last longer than Hamdi Abdelwahab, maybe he can handle this the takedowns from this Polish D guy. So why not? Let's go with Freeman. Do I care at all? Not really. But yeah, really the only reason I'm picking him, he's from Georgia. So if he's from Atlanta, gotta rep the pack. Next up, welterweights: Nicholas Dalby versus Saeed Isakamayev. I gotta Saeed
Saigid
Isakam
is Saigid Isagak Magaev.
Izagachmaev. It's
There
easier
we
for me
go.
to read the Cyrillic than the English at this point. Uh, Making his debut against Nicholas Dalby. Um, Saeed is the huge favorite, minus 400, plus 290 for Nicholas Dalby. He is 10 years younger. He's not young. He's 31. Nicholas Dalby's just 41. 6'1". He is 22-2. Had a little bit of a run in one championship. Fought for guerrilla fighting, which is Khabib's like offshoot. Beat Shinya Aoki in his last fight in 2022, so he's kind of been on the shelf for a while. And yeah, coming over to the UFC, facing Dalby, who just got knocked out pretty brutally by Randy Brown in April on a 2-fight losing streak. You could argue should be a 1-fight losing streak because of that Renat Fakhretdinov fight. So yeah, this one's me. This one's me.
Like,
I'm going Saeed. I'm a big fan of him. He is a part of that, Islam, Habib, Umar training group. He has been training with them and Tagir Ulanbekov, who we'll talk about later, pretty heavily. Nicholas Dalby's super old. Saeed, the only recent loss he has is to Carlson Harris in a fight he was winning, and he kind of just got caught. So give me Saeed. I don't know if he's going to run Dalby, but 30-27 probably, boring grappling. And I think we have a new player at welterweight.
pretty much the same way. I'm going the
Yeah.
same way here. I don't think he finishes Nicholas Dalby because Dalby's a tough cookie. Some might say,
Yeah.
he's a tough cookie, and I just haven't been. I haven't seen too much of this guy, Saeed, but I'm gonna assume that he's gonna be able to get his grappling game going and get a bunch of takedowns off, and it's gonna be boring, and he's gonna win this fight by decision.
Yeah.
Before we move
I
on,
mean,
though, what did you think of the whole brawl in the crowd last night with
uh, you know, you know very well I'm a Dylan Dennis hater. I have no sympathy or respect for Dylan Dennis.
I think they kind of
So,
set him up a bit.
did you hear what Dana had to say after
Yeah, I
about
did.
it?
And he knew Danis was sitting in the same like section as all the Russian
Yeah.
team, and he just let
Well,
them. But
he moved into their section. He had a seat. I think he got a ticket outside of the fighters section, moved into the fighter section somehow, and then started going towards Jorge and started going towards the Dagestanis. Eh, eh, Yeah, I was reading this article about the Daggies and kind of about Abdul, not Habib's father, but all of them, how they just kind of start in high school and middle school in Dagestan. They just fight all the time in the street. They'll just throw down over somebody, I don't know, insulting your outfit. So if Dylan Dennis, after all he said, shows up, yeah, they're gonna throw some punches. I was fine with it. Did you hate it?
I don't know. For he was getting punched in the back of the head, like stomped on,
Yeah,
and he's the one that gets a lifetime ban. And I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know, man. I don't
I'm
know.
perfectly fine with that. I'm not the biggest Dagestani guy. Like I like some of them, but uh, my hate for Dylan Dennis far exceeds anything for any of the the Russians.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Uh, But yeah, well, let's move on. Nurullo Aliev versus says Shakim Rock. No, it's Shamrock. 155. Nurul Aliev, the Tajik Eagle, minus 340 to plus 250 for Shem Rock. Aliev's been out for, I want to say 2 years. No, he came back in January and beat Joe Selecki. I have no memory of that fight. Before that, he was out for 2 years against Rafael Alves. I remember the Joe Selecki one was a weird one because I think it was short notice. Either way, he is 24, so he's got plenty of time to take a few years off and improve his skills. He's fighting Shamrock, who's making his debut in the UFC from Octagon, where he had a few great wins. Um, yeah, pretty hype prospect. He's going to be 8 years older at 32. He is supposedly 2 inches taller, but who really knows? And we don't have a height for him. So, kind of a weird one here. Jeannie, what weird betting lines too? What are you thinking? Where are you going here?
You know, it's interesting because Shamrock is his submission game and grappling game is pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but Nurullo Aliev has a very imposing grappling game. A lot of people
Yeah.
have like I get he's a Russian grappler and all that, so he's obviously going to have these comparisons. But a lot of people have compared him to Habib the way he grapples. You know how the dominance that he grapples with.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I just I can't see. I think Nurullo Aliev is going to win this fight by decision. It's going to be grappling based, and maybe Shamrock gets a few submission attempts from the bottom, but Aliev's going to escape them, and he's going to end up on top of Shamrock, and he's going to outstrike him on top and ground and pound, and maybe just rinse some control time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm thinking it goes.
I think that might be. We might see a little time on the feet too, and maybe in the clinch, maybe a distance, whatever. But I think Eliev's got better striking than Shamrock too. I think Shamrock's big potential claim to victory here would be like a. He's not really a guillotine guy, or he's mainly like a top control submission guy. So maybe you could convince me of like a knee. He doesn't really have any knockouts. He has two knockouts, and I think both of them are ground and pound. Yeah, I think so. Or no, sorry, one of them is ground and pound. And um, so yeah, I think Aliev. I'm not gonna say he's a great prospect. He's definitely got a great team behind him. He's another guy who I think he does some training with the Habib team, but he is. I forget. He's training with someone good. Yeah, I think we got somebody who could be interesting at lightweight. Maybe not entertaining, but interesting. And let's move on. 185 middleweight Ryan Loder versus Ismail Nardiev. My least favorite, no, my most middle do not care fighter of all time, Ismail Nardiev. Ryan Loder, 7-2. He is 1-1 in the UFC. Technically, one of those is a Ultimate Fighter Championship against Robert Valentin. They got brutally knocked out by Azamat Beklev back in May. On the other side, Nardiev is his second shot. He's up at middleweight now. He beat Bruno Silva and lost to Jun Young Park. So those are his last two. Loder is going to have 2 inches of height, 2 inches of reach, and he's going to be 5 years older. Despite all that, Nardiev is minus 185 to plus 145 for Ryan Man of Steel Loder. And give me the underdog here. I was kind of shocked at these odds. I think earlier in the week it was a bit closer to a pick'em. Nardiev has done nothing to make me think that he deserves to be minus 180 favorite here. I mean, a loss to Jun Young Park. Do you remember that fight? That one was a pretty weird fight. It was one of those classic Iron Turtle fights.
Nardiev was winning, but there was a point deduction, right? Because he kneed Jung Young Park when he was down,
He,
right?
yeah, pretty bad. I think they took 2 points actually.
Yeah. But like
And
Nardiev
then he
was
gassed
winning the
out.
fight.
He won the first round. Like he almost finished Iron Turtle, and then he gassed out pretty hard. And Ryan Loder, uh, American collegiate wrestler, not a champion or anything, but I think he can take down Nardiev. Iron Turtle took him down pretty much at will. I don't count a Bruno Silva win in the year of our Lord 2025 as good. I think maybe beating Bruno Silva makes you worse because it gives you confidence that you are good. Um, and yeah, I think Ryan Loder, I don't know if it's going to be interesting, but I think he can just kind of take him down or hold him like, up against the fence for, um, I don't know, 3 rounds, I guess. Maybe we're doing a split decision or something, but yeah, give me an underdog here. Why not?
I agree with you. I think I'm gonna go with Ryan Loder. Um, but he is 1 for 7 on takedowns in the UFC. I just want to make that clear. He went 1 for 4 against Azamat, and he went 1 for 3 against Robert Valentin, which is you should be able to take down Valentin at will if you want to.
Yeah.
But I think he could hold Nardiev against the fence, and I think on the feet, even Ryan Loder could be the more effective striker. So I'm gonna say Ryan Loder takes this fight by a decision. Might be a close one, but yeah, I see Ryan Loder. Probably he's gonna be able to get a takedown or two, I think, in this fight. But it's an ugly
Yeah.
stat. 14% takedown accuracy. It's an ugly stat. I hope it gets improved in this fight. But yeah, I'm gonna say Ryan Loder wins this fight by decision.
Alrighty. And let's move on to men's bantamweight. Beksat Almakan versus Alexandre Topuria. This is a great fight. Beksat is 1-1 in the UFC, really great career. He came in super short notice for Umar, lost, and then knocked out Brad Katona. So those are his only 2 wins. We were actually there at the Brad Katona win. On the other side, Alexandre Topuria, older brother of Ilya, um, 1-0 in the UFC, 30-26th, I think, Colby thickness, um, back in February. And yeah, pretty much the same age, same height, same reach, same everything. Uh, Despite the potential hype either way, I guess in favor of the hype either way, they are a pick 'em right now. So uh, great fight, 2 great prospects. Jeannie, which one are you picking to win this fight here?
This is a tough one. Bekzad
Is
knocked
it a
down
tough one?
Umar. Bekzad knocked down Umar, man. I don't know. He knocked down Umar. Umar was able to outgrapple him after because he's a fucking robot. But
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sold on Alexandre Topuria yet, just because he was able to take down Thickness a couple times and win that fight. I don't. He has good boxing. He breaks in this kind of same way Ilya does, but I'm not entirely sold on him. Like I'm sold on Ilya. I know Ilya's incredible, but I'm not entirely sold on this dude yet. I've got to see some more stuff from this guy. But I'm probably gonna go with Alexandre Topuria over Bekzat. I mean, maybe he's gonna be able to grapple him the same way Umar was. Maybe he's just gonna be able to take him down and control him like that. But this dude's got good hands. Like he put down Umar in the first round of that fight, had him
Mhm.
on skates, and then Brad Katona win was pretty brutal. But I'm gonna say Alexandre Topuria, man. I've been a Bekzat fan. I picked Bekzat to beat Brad
Bam.
Katona.
Wow.
I picked him to beat Brad Katona, man.
Okay. Okay. I did not, and Cougs never lets me hear the end of it. Um, yeah, I'm going to Poria. I'm a lot more confident than you, I say. I think the game planning is much better. He's just, you know how there's that old saying, you win the belt and you get 10% better because you get, the money and the attention and your coaches put a little more work into you, whatever. It, maybe he gets 5% from from training with his brother being and Ilya becoming champion. There's got to be a ton more money, better training facilities, all that, and coaches for sure. So I think he can take down Beksat. I think Umar hit at a pretty high clip in that fight um, against Beksat, and I think Alexandre Topuria can do the same here. If he wants to, I think he could have success striking. So we're in a line there, and let's move on to the next fight. I'm going to be pretty interested to see who you have here because I think you have a bias if I remember correctly. But we'll see. Kyoji Horiguchi, yes, that Kyoji Horiguchi, re-debuting in the UFC against Tagir Ulanbekov. Horiguchi, 34, 5-0, so he is a vet. A 3-fight winning streak. He's coming from Ryzen, where he was their flyweight champion. Before that, he was in Bellator. He was their Bellator's bantamweight champion, and he was in the UFC a long time ago. And then they cut him off a 3-fight win streak because they were getting rid of flyweight. He lost. He was the. I think he still has the record for the latest getting finished in any UFC fight ever. 4:59 into the 5th round. On the other side, Tagir, part of that Khabib Islam team, Father's Plan, 4-fight winning streak in the UFC. He just beat Azat Matsum in June. Ulanbekov's going to be 2 inches taller, 5 inches of reach. He's only a year younger, though. That kind of surprised me. Minus 190, plus 145 for Horiguchi. And I am going to Gear here. I think Hyuji's takedown defense has never been great, and it hasn't improved much. He's great striking. He's good takedown defense, but I mean, he hasn't been fighting grapplers in Ryzen that are on his level, at least. And Sergio Pettis can grapple, but he didn't choose to in any of the fights. And Pachamix, yeah, he was a lot bigger, but so is Tagir. Tagir's a huge flyweight, really, really tall. And I think he's just on a run here. He's got the coaching. Maybe you can point to the Tim Elliott fight, but Tim Elliott's just a vet like that, crafty. I don't think Tagir has that in him. But I think you're gonna oppose me here. I don't think you like
Really?
Tagir, if I remember correctly.
What? That's crazy talk, man. No, I'm a Tajir enjoyer.
Okay,
I picked against him maybe a few times, but I don't think I have in recent memory though. Looking back on it, I definitely picked him over Clayton Carpenter. I definitely picked him
You
over
didn't pick
Cody
him against
Durden.
Maxim?
I'm pretty sure I picked him against Maxim. I can pull it up right
Hmm.
now real quick while I talk, but I'm pretty certain I picked him against Maxim. But you know who's tied with Kyoji Horiguchi for the latest finish in UFC history?
Is it
You should be
Overeem
able to guess it.
when he got finished by Biggie Boy?
It's not, unless that's also on the list here, but UFC 300, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Oh,
Oh,
it was also at 4 minutes 59 seconds. Yeah, no, I picked Tajir against Azat Maksum.
okay.
Um, but I think he's got better striking at this point. He's got the reach advantage of 5 inches. He's taller than Kyoji, so he's got the size factor. And Kyoji's fighting in Ryzen, which, I mean, we saw what happened with Kaya Sakura when he came back in. His grappling was not on par with the UFC level. Tim
Mhm.
Elliott was able to, crafty vet Elliott was able to get it done against him. I think Tajir is going to be able to outstrike Kyoji on the feet, and if anyone has a chance at knocking anyone out, it's Tajir knocking out Kyoji in this fight. But I'm going to say Tajir is able to win this fight by decision. He can rinse in some takedowns as well and keep it on the feet for a little bit. I think Tajir's winning this fight.
Okay.
That's my pick.
Okay. I thought you were more of a hater, but I guess we're on the same
60% of
page here.
Topology. 63% of Topology
Wow.
has Horiguchi.
Oh, has Horiguchi. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Huh. I bet you money we're going to be on the same page here. Light heavyweight Abdul Rahman Yakhayev versus Rafael Cerqueira. Uh, Yakhayev Hunter. Isn't Sir Cerqueira Hunter too? Uh,
Yes.
I think so. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Um, Abdul Rahman Yakhayev is coming off a 30-second KO on Contender Series. Before that, he was the Aries FC champion. Um, Training out of MMA Nuremberg. I think he trains with Islam Dulatov and Dulatov's brother, if I'm not mistaken. Shakira on the other side, 11-3, 0-3 in the UFC. He just lost a decision to Julius Walker in August. He is going to be 11 years older. Hunter, I'm just going to go with Yakhayev, is 24. 2 inches of reach for Yakhayev, but Shakir is going to have a 1 inch height advantage, minus 1,000 for Yakhayev, plus 560 for Shakira. You can't tell me you're going with Shakira here, right?
Listen, man, people no. He was on a 3-fight losing streak right now. Has not won a fight
Yeah.
in the UFC. The fact he's even still around in the UFC is insane to me, to be honest. These guys cut
Martin
Hamdi
Goudet.
Abdelwahab on a win streak, but
Did
they're
they
keeping him.
really?
Yeah, they cut him. They
Huh?
cut him before they cut
Shame.
Chris Barnett, by the way. But
That's
they're
fun.
both cut now. Both of them are cut now. Chris Barnett and
Okay.
Hamdi. But I'm gonna say Yakyaev is gonna be able to knock Shakira out. But he did just last all the way to a decision against Julius Walker. Was that not a short notice fight with Julius Walker?
I think that was full
Was
notice.
that a was, that was full camp? Really?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, oh well, Julius Walker on full camp, he would have put him out, but no. Okay, I guess not. Yeah, I'm gonna say Yakyev's gonna score a knockout victory here. He's pretty dominant, and he looked good on Contender Series. And yeah, you just can't go. You can't go against a minus 1,000 or what was Wellmaker?
Oh, he was only like 450, 500, I think.
Was he really? Okay, all right.
Yeah. I think the biggest favorite was it wasn't Bo. Bo's 250. I forget. I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, Hive's gonna KO him first round. It's probably still gonna be minus 250 or something. Uh, Next up, 145. Luke Riley debuting versus Bogdan Grad. Luke Riley is a former. Oh no, he never actually won the belt. That's surprising. He's a Cage Warriors guy. His entire career, pro career, has been in Cage Warriors. Some great performances, beat some great guys. And he was supposed to get a. This would have been a great fight. He was supposed to get a Contender Series fight against Luke Riley, or not, against Kevin Vallejos. Visa issues related to some kind of crime Luke Riley had done, which is pretty unusual from the UK, where he's from. Usually, visas, it's like you have to commit a serious crime to. I don't think I ever figured out what it was, but he's debuting against Bogdan Grad. 1-1 in the UFC. He's coming off a decision loss to Muhammad Naimov in June. An inch of height for Luke Riley. 4 years younger, minus 265, plus 200 for Grad. I thought real hard about Bogdan Grad here. I was wondering if I could get to him. I mean, he has wins over UFC level competition, right? Michael Elswell, Lucas Alexander. But I think he's not going to be able to get Luke Riley down, and Luke Riley kind of thrives in a we'll call it a brawl, and that's Bogdan Grad to a T, right? You remember that Michael Aswell fight on the Contender Series? Whew, that was something else. But yeah, I think Luke Riley's probably going to catch him maybe sometime in the first two rounds and put him out. Get on the next. They haven't had an England card in a while, huh? They're probably due for one called March. He'll get on that card. Fight another bum. What about you?
Yeah, um, fuck.
You don't sound happy about it.
No, I'm a big Bogdan Grad enjoyer, man. I don't
Yeah.
know if you remember, but when he beat Lucas Alexander 9 months ago, that was the first sparring sessions parlay, was it not, that we had and it cashed? Was that not the first
Oh,
one
it
that we
was.
had?
Yeah. Good times. Good times.
Yeah, but he's too scrappy. He gets caught quite a bit. I think even in that Lucas Alexander fight, he either got wobbled or he got knocked down before he knocked out Alexander. I think it might have just been a wobble, but he always gets into these scraps. He eats a big shot, and you can't be doing that against Luke Riley. I don't think. I think Luke
No.
Riley most likely puts out Bogdan Grad in the first or second round by knockout. Is going to be my official pick. I hate to say it though, man. I'm a big Bogdan Grad fan. I really like his style. He's a fun guy to watch. And I'd love it if he ends up winning this fight. But I just see it going poorly for him.
Yep. Yep. Sorry for all the Bogdan enjoyers out there, but you know what? It's how it goes. It's a fight game. Next up, um, flyweights, men's flyweights. Asul Mbaye versus Alex Perez. Perez, wow. Should we break this down? I mean, this fight's clearly not happening, right? It's an Alex Perez fight. It just can't. Alex Perez, he was booked to fight Manel Cop. Wow, that talk about a fight that was destined to not happen. He is 7-5 in the UFC, coming off a main event loss last June. He tore his ACL, I think, from a Tetsuo Taira body locking him. I want to say. On the other side, Bayev, 5-1 in the UFC. He rebounded from his loss to Manel Cop versus Jose Ochoa in July. Bayev's a big favorite, -210, +160 for Perez. Perez is going to have 2 inches of height. I feel like that's pretty rare for Alex Perez. Half an inch of reach. So, Jeannie, you going with Alex Perez? Or sorry, you going with Asum Bayev or whoever's replacing Alex Perez here?
I despise Asu Almabayev. With every
Wow.
fiber of my being, I despise Asu Almabayev. I hate this
Interesting.
guy. I hate his style. Watching his fights, it makes me want to rip my eyes out of my head, man. Perez is 1-4 in his last 5 fights, and the one is Mateusz Nicolau. People forget, man. I actually picked Mateusz Nicolau to beat Asu Almabayev. Pretty bad pick, but
Oh,
I'm
to
gonna
beat
say,
Bayev. Interesting.
yeah, that was a bad pick by me. I'll say that was a bad pick by me, but I'm gonna say Asu Almabayev is. I'm gonna say Asu Almabayev is gonna be able to outgrapple Alex Perez, and he's going to win this fight by decision. And I'm gonna hate watching this fight. I might just look at my phone for the 15 minutes this fight is on the screen for, because I'm not gonna enjoy it. Whatever goes on, I'm not gonna enjoy this fight. It's gonna be Asu Almabayev just holding a dominant position on Alex Perez to a decision victory. Anytime this fight is in, danger of being entertaining, on the feet, Asu Amabayev is going to take him down and going to make it a horrible fight to watch. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's how it's going to go. Bayev decision. That's about it. We don't need to spend much more time here. Instead, moving to a fight where you are in love with one of the fighters, I believe. Heavyweight Sergey Spivak versus Shamil Gaziev. It's funny, when I first met Will, well, our friend Big Will, he told me I look like a mix of Sergey Spivak and Roman Kopylov. I still don't believe it to this day, but whenever one of them fights, I have to mention it. Polar Bear, Sergey Spivak, on a two-fight losing streak. He just lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta in June. Some called it a robbery. Me, who had money on Waldo Cortez Acosta, did not, or I did not call it a robbery. On the side, Gaziev is 3-1 on two-fight winning streak. Just beat Thomas Peterson in the first round. Um, ranked UFC heavyweights here. Minus 185 for Gaziev, plus 140 for Spivak. Gaziev is 5 years older. He's going to have an inch of height, half an inch of reach. No nickname. Polar Bear for Spivak. Can we start a petition to get Gaziev a nickname? What do you think? Big Sexy? Something like that? And I'm going to go Gaziev here. He's not in danger of gassing out, I don't think. And Sergey Spivak probably isn't more. I don't know. He kind of gasses too. This could get real heavyweighty. This could turn into a fight for sure. But I think Gaziev has the power advantage on the feet. I think he can take Spivak down if he wants, or he can not get taken down if he wants. And yeah, I think you know what? I'm gonna be positive for once. I'm gonna say Gaziev round 2 KO. Round 2 KO. Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. Listen, Gaziev, this dude's been entirely unstoppable in his UFC run so far. Nobody's able to. He's been unstoppable. Nobody's even came close. They had to fucking call the fight off because he was getting so close to beating Rosenstrike.
He was winning
He was catching
so much.
a second win. He was catching a second win in that fight.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He's been entirely unstoppable. He just defeated the big blob of Thomas Peterson. Just absolutely deaded the dude in the middle of the ring. Spivak, on the other hand, I mean, losing to Waldo Cortez Acosta is that's not bad at all. The dude's the future title holder. He's going to be beating Tom Aspinall in a year time. So, I mean, losing to Waldo, that's not a bad loss. But I think Gaziev, he's a future title holder as well. This dude's going right to the belt. There's nobody able to touch him. The dude that they fucking gave a free win to, he's not even in the UFC anymore. So,
yeah.
It doesn't matter. That Rosenstrike loss doesn't matter. Gaziev is taking this one over Spivak, and I think he finishes him. Spivak has been... I mean, if Gaziev gets on top of him, I think that's fight over, to be honest. Like, you have that big fucking hulking mass of Shamil on top of you. What are you going to do? You're going to get finished off. You're going to get absolutely pummeled on the ground. And I think Shamil finishes him off on the ground in the second round. I'm going to say ground and pound TKO, man. That's my pick.
Okay. Don't hate it. I was thinking some more on the feet, but either way. All right, next up, we got a men's welterweight fight. Very weird one. Very weird. Jack Hermanson, yes, he's dropping down to welterweight after getting colded by Gregory Rodriguez back in June. I think let me run down. I believe this is the first time he's fought at middleweight. I know welterweight. I know in the UFC, but I think even before the UFC and Cage Warriors, he was middleweight. I can't see a single welterweight fight. So who knows if he's even going to make it? And I'm hoping he can. Kind of a weird one, pretty late in his career. The other side, Mikbek Oralby, moving up to welterweight. He had fought up for his short notice debut against Eros Medic, and then he missed weight super badly against Tofik Musayev last time out. Still beat him in June, but he missed weight by 10 pounds. They had to make it a catch weight, and so he's just moving up. So you got a guy coming up from lightweight and a guy moving down from middleweight. Despite that, the guy moving up is a big favorite, minus 215, plus 165 for Hermanson. Jackson be 10 years older, 37, 3 inches of height, 3.5 inches of reach. This one is all you, Jeannie. Super weird fight, but who do you have winning here?
Now listen, do you like the move from Hermanson after getting put out in 2 of his last 3 fights Do you like the move of him cutting more weight and going down to a lower weight category after getting knocked out in two of his last three fights?
No, because the size wasn't the issue. Size was never the issue for him, right?
But the weight cut
Like,
is going to make him more susceptible to getting
yeah,
knocked
yeah.
out. Do you not agree?
Oh, I definitely agree. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Mick has that lighter man skill, some might call it, and he packs a punch as well. And Hermanson, who has been on the career decline recently and has shown the dude doesn't have a chin anymore. I don't think. I don't know. I had this feeling against Benil. And I just kind of have the same feeling against Jack. This is a terrible career move by him, I think, to move down a weight category after getting knocked out just in July. And he's going down and he's
Hmm.
fighting a dude that's going to be fucking throwing some crazy shit at him. I think Mick Dickbeck knocks him out in the second round of this fight. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's it for
seems
Hermanson.
about right. I think it's going to be decision. I don't think Orbai has that kind of power, I'll be honest. Um, but I could see that happening. I could see him catching him. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go decision here. Kind of a weird one. If he didn't just get colded twice, I wouldn't hate the move down, but he did. I mean, yeah, you can't say it's a good move when it seems like it's in desperation. And I never like desperation weight changes, so I'll go over by here. Weird one though. I'm definitely not putting any money down. Another weird one, light heavyweight. Volkan Ozdemir versus Alonzo Menafield. No time. Ozdemir. It's coming off a decision loss to Carlos Oberg back in last November. Um, it will will it be, what day is this? Almost a year to the date since he's coming back. And he's fighting Alonzo Menafield, Atomic, who's coming off a win against Umar Sy in Atlanta. Horrible, horrible, horrible fight. I was there. 2 fight winning streak. Uh, no time for once is going to be the younger guy at 36. Menfield's 28. He's going to have 2 inch of height. Menfield's going to have an inch of reach. Minus 250 for Ozdemir, plus 190 for Menafield. I kind of want to pick Menafield here. Ozdemir has 2 wins in the past 4 years. Johnny Walker and Bogdan Guskov. And losing to Carlos Oberg is a very good loss. Losing to Nikita Krylov, at the time it was better. But Menafield, I just can't feel confident picking him. You know, um, he got knocked out twice in a row. He's on a 2 fight win streak, but both were horrible fights. Both I thought he lost. Um, Although you can't really blame the judges since they were both, nothing happened. So I think, yeah, okay, I'll play it safe. I'll go with Ozdemir here. Kind of hate the pick, but what are you gonna do? What about you, Jeannie?
I'm going to go with Volkan Ozdemir. I think this dude trusts his hands a bit more than Menafield does, and he's got pretty good takedown defense. I don't see the clear path to victory for Menafield other than just making it very sloppy and just yeah, like even that Julius Walker fight where it was a split decision. I honestly thought Julius Walker did the better work and could have won that fight.
Yeah,
And I mean, Umar Sy has never really been very impressive in his run in the company. So Volkan Ozdemir, he made it to a decision with Alberg, played it safe. I think he's going to be able to win this fight. I think it's going all 3 rounds, and Ozdemir wins a decision. That's
yeah,
kind of where I'm thinking it goes.
weird one, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm. All right, next up, co-main event: Belal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Gary. See if I can finish this before I lose my voice. Remember the name, Belal Muhammad. 15-4 in one no contest in the
Oh,
UFC, coming off that decision loss to JDM in May, we're also there for. On the other side, Machado Gary coming off that uh, it should have been a draw, but it was a win over Carlos Prates in April. Um, kind of a weird one. Gary's going to be 9 years younger at 28. He's going to have 4 inches of height, a 2.5 inch of reach, minus 190, plus 150 for Bilal Muhammad. So, Janie, this one's your pick. I'm going to ask you for your pick and how your pick will affect kind of the welterweight, um, call it title picture going forward.
Yeah. So I can't lie, I've kind of been going back and forth on this one for a few weeks, honestly. I was thinking about giving Bilal Muhammad the the rub AO, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't pick Bilal here. Ian has the height advantage, he has the reach advantage, which I mean that made all the difference against Michael Morales and Sean Brady last night. At the shout out Will, but I think Ian Gary's going to be able to outbox Bilal on the feet and maybe deny his takedowns. I'm going to say this fight goes all 3 rounds, and honestly, I don't see it affecting the title picture because I think Michael Morales totally stamped his. But Carlos Prates too. Fuck, that was right after. Oh my god. Ian Gary would need a finish if he wants
Yeah, I think so.
if he wants to be in the same conversation as Michael Morales and Carlos Prates, the guy who he beat in his last time out.
Do you think they would give it to Prates over IMG?
No, I think they'd give it to Michael Morales. This cements Michael Morales as the title contender. I think because I think they wanted to give it to Sean Brady if he won. The fact that he finished Sean Brady in the first, and then Prates won in emphatic fashion when he already lost to Ian Gary, and Ian Gary's going to have a 3 round stinker, I'm going to call it here. And that whole thing is going to cement Michael Morales as the title contender, because they can't give it to Prates, and Ian Gary off of a decision can't get it, so they got to go next down the list to Michael Morales. That's kind of where I think it's going to go.
I think you're wrong. I agree with your Victor. I think it's going to be an Ian Machado Gary boring decision, but I think they're giving it to Usman, Kamaru Usman.
You think they're still giving it to Usman?
I do. It's been, the streets have been saying it. I've seen a few rumors on Twitter, and then I'm not going to say his name because he didn't officially put it out there, but a very distinguished MMA journalist hinted that the plan was, if Islam won, to do Usman versus Islam. So
really,
I
I was thinking it would only be an Usman fight if it was JDM that won.
I don't know that, and Dana's been talking about Kamaru Usman out of the blue this last week. Kind of, he called him the GOAT welterweight, which, yeah, I
Wow.
think Machado Gary's gonna win by decision. I think he could sneak in over Usman if he finishes Bilal, but I don't think that's going to happen. Bilal's pretty tough. Um, I think he's only been finished once by Luke, right? Yeah, because then he won that again. So, um, IMG here. I think he's going to end up fighting uh, Morales, and then I think they're going to do Praches versus JDM. But if Bilal wins, that kind of screws up everything. Or maybe it makes it better for Morales. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Main event. Let's finish this off strong. Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker, 5 rounds. Also, a little weird that Bilal versus Machado Gary isn't 5 rounds, right? You kind of expect that one to be.
Yeah, I think it would be a better fight if it was a 5 rounder too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously a 5 rounder is usually better than 3, but with the landscape of the division, that feels like that feels like a title contender fight, and it feels like it would definitely benefit from the extra 2 rounds.
Yeah. Main event, Tsarukyan 155. Tsarukyan is on a 4 fight winning streak. He last beat Charles Oliveira, UFC 300. I was there. I thought it was a robbery. I thought Charles 2-0 or 2-1. And then he had that those back injury pains against when he was supposed to fight Islam and lost his title shot. So now he's fighting Dan Hooker. He's also done some grappling in there. Hooker is coming off a decision win over Gamrot in last August. So two guys who have been pretty inactive actually. He himself is on a 3-fight winning streak. Armin's gonna be 6 years younger. Dan is gonna have 5 inch of height, 3 inch of reach. But despite all that, Armin's gonna be the minus 440 favorite, plus 310 for Dan Hooker. This one's me. Give me Armin. I was not impressed. I thought Gamrot won the fight against Dan Hooker. Armin's just gonna rinse and repeat takedowns and ground and pound. I think. I mean, look what he did to Joel Alvarez 3 years ago, and then he knocked out Beneil Dariush, knocked out somebody else. No, nobody notable. And then has beat some great guys. I think he's Dan Hooker's takedown defense hasn't improved that much, especially when he doesn't have to worry about the striking from Gamrot. Jalen Turner took him down once or twice too, if I remember, and then he landed that brutal head kick. So yeah, give me Tsarukyan here. Probably gets himself. I don't think a title shot. I think he's gonna fight. I think he's gonna fight BST for a title shot because I think they're gonna give it to Patty. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Depends how he wins. I'll say that. What about you?
I think they would have given it to Patty already if they were giving it to Patty. To be honest, I feel like
Don't you
the
think
ship sailed.
they haven't announced January? I think that Patty versus Ilya is going to be January, but I thought
Do
they
you not think
really
they're
thought they were
kind
going
of
to announce it.
waiting to? I guess it'll be a short turnaround if they fought, if Armin fought in January. That'd be a pretty short turnaround for him. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they
okay.
even. I thought they were going to announce the January pay per view last night or number card, but they didn't.
Dan Hooker's been knocked out a couple times.
Yeah,
He's been submitted a couple times, but most of his losses are decisions. 6 of his losses are decisions compared to 3 submission losses and 3 knockout losses. But Arnold Allen got him out in the first round. Michael Chandler got him out in the first round. Edson Barboza was a third-round knockout. Armin Tsarukyan's going to be very dominant in this fight, I see. This is a 5-rounder. Do you think it goes all 5? I can't remember. Did you say a decision?
no, I don't think so. Late finish, maybe.
Late finish, you're thinking? I think this is going to be an earlier, under 2.5 rounds, I kind of am leaning towards. I think Armin gets him out of there and cements his place in the division. This has been what Armin's been waiting for all year. I mean, since that little back pain injury, he met up with Nina Drama, and then all of a sudden his back is fucking completely just out
What
of
was he
whack,
doing?
man. Yeah, what was he
What's
doing?
he doing
That
there?
grip must have been astronomical, man. Fuck. He must have. Oh, man. The crazy, crazy work there. But he's been waiting for this all year
Yeah.
for his shot to cement his place in the division, and he kind of got a. I don't want to call it a layup, but you look at the ranking that they have. He's fighting number 13 in the division right now. The whole talk of when he gets his next title shot has been, you got to get back out there and fight again. So they give him the number 13 in the division after all that talk. I feel like this kind of a layup, and Dan Hooker has been susceptible to getting put out of there in the past. Armin Tsarukyan has power in his hands, has a good game plan to win this fight if he just gets it to the mat. I see him scoring a ground and pound victory. Or it could be on the feet in the first round too. Maybe that he could just land something crazy in the first round and put him out of there. But I'm thinking it's going to be a ground and pound victory in the second round. Is where I'm
Hey,
leaning towards here.
he could do it himself on the feet if he wants to. But yeah, I like it. All right, well, let's move on to regional minute real quick. uh, before I really lose my voice, Cage Warriors 197 Friday at 3 p.m. UFC Fight Pass. Part of a doubleheader. This one stinks. This is not a good card at all. They lost their main event. LFA 223 Friday 7:30 p.m. They got the vacant welterweight championship on the line. Jeff Creighton's in the co-mains, should be pretty good. I'm excited for that one. Octagon 80 Saturday at 1 p.m. I think. Yeah, lightweight championship vacant on the line. Nicholas Stolze, you remember him in the co-main, went 0-3 in the UFC. Felix Klinkhammer, if you know who that is. Okay card, not phenomenal. David Benavidez is boxing somebody, and Devin Haney is also boxing on the card. That's Saturday noon in Saudi Arabia. I have no idea how you'd watch it, but uh, the zone maybe? I don't know. I'm not a big boxing guy. Second of the doubleheader, Cage Warriors 198, Saturday 12:30 p.m. You've got an interim lightweight championship, O'Neal Brown versus Omar Tugarev. Great fight in the main event. Beyond that, nothing. I mean, a few Cage Warriors names, but nothing like screaming UFC at me. Brave CF 102 Sunday at 1 p.m. in Slovenia. A few guys who I could see getting not title shots, getting contender series shots next year if they win a few more, because they seem to like that Eastern European region. And then Anthony Pez FC, Saturday, 6 p.m. Welterweight championship and lightweight championship on the line. But that's not why we're going to be tuning in. Recently announced that Gable Steveson will be on this card, making his second MMA fight, or having a second MMA fight. No opponent yet. I imagine it's going to be some can, but yeah, should be good. And then, last but not least, we'll finish it off. UFC 323 is in 2 weeks. The UFC's taking a week off. We might do something fun in the meantime. We haven't, still talking about it, but top two fights, Merab versus Peter Yan, UFC Bantamweight Championship. Co-main, Alexandre Pachosa versus Joshua Ban, Flyweight Championship. So, Jeannie, you know how we do it. Outside the title fights, what is your most anticipated fight?
So, outside of the co-main and main, I'm going down the card a bit to. I think this is an absolute banger, to be honest with you. One of these guys has been underestimated in the eyes of a lot of these MMA fans, I've heard, but Nazim Sadikov versus Fares Ziam, I see being an absolute banger of a fight. Fares Ziam has a 6-inch reach advantage in that one, so it could be interesting, but Nazim Sadikov is a crazy good striker, and yeah. Fares Ziam, as I said, has been underestimated by a lot of these people, but he is a beast in his own right, and I think that fight is going to be really good.
Yeah, that's a great one. I almost went with that, but I'm going with Chris Duncan versus Terrence McKinney. Chris Duncan is on a 3-fight winning streak, beating some great guys, and they matched him up with Terrence McKinney, who is just the definition of action. This one's going to be over in 2 minutes, if that. And yeah, it's going to be a great fight. And we'll be here to break it down, but until then, Janie, thanks so much for coming on. Hope you enjoy the fight card, even if you have to miss some of it for sparring.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy as well, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.